Okay, I want to welcome everybody to the regular meeting here at the Town Hall. It's Thursday, March 19th, 2015, and I'd like to ask our clerk to call the roll.
Councilman Friedman? Here. Councilman Charles? Councilman Deputy Supervisor Withers? Present. Councilman Allman?
Probably wants an agenda.
Deputy Commissioner Hunter? Supervisor Sable?
Here. Okay, I'd like to ask Councilman Friedman to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance. Okay, the first item, Chief, you're up.
Thank you. Good morning, Mr. Supervisor and members of the board. As customary, I just want to give a little of my chief's report. The first thing we usually talk about is our statistics, and we compare them to February of 14 to this year. And there's nothing that jumps off the page. We have had quite a few less accidents this year as we did last year. We have 5 fewer pedestrian-involved accidents, and we had 1 fatality in 14, and so far to date, we don't have any fatalities in the town. Our false alarms basically are pretty much the same, and all the information that's in that quadrant is pretty much the same. Our assaults are up a little bit. Our burglaries are down by over 50%. Criminal mischief is down considerable, and our larcenies are down well over 50%. Sex crimes are up a few. Traffic summonses are down about 200. Cell phone tickets are up, and the overnight parking summonses are up a little bit. Basically, that's the comparison for the 2 months. If you have any questions on that, I'd be glad to respond. If not, we'll go down to the next issue, which is the community events.
Okay?
Any questions, Mr. Supervisor?
Nope.
Okay. Community events. We went to a couple of village meetings. As customary, we asked if there's anything that we could do, any service that we could provide them, and they are very happy with the services that the police department gives them. We went to a few senior citizens. The district attorney and myself went and gave presentations on scams, well received. We still have about 8 of our seniors to go, and they're a very energetic group and really a pleasure to work with. Probably new on this month's presentation is we have a 2-part exercise that we're providing all our first responders. The first part is a PowerPoint presentation. It talks about lessons that we've learned from all the way from Columbine up to Newtown, Connecticut, on these horrific active shootings in the schools. We've given it to Hillcrest Fire Department, Hugh Gessner Fire Department, Sloatsburg Ambulance. Last night we went to Brewer Fire Department down in Muncie, and the night before we were up at Round Valley Ambulance. The message is well received. We plan on going to each and every one of our first responders in the town, and the second part of the exercise will be a drill at different schools located in the first responders sector responsibility. We're planning on to do those drills probably later part of April and into May. Other than that, Mr. Supervisor, there's another suggestion I may have for this board. I went to the Rockland County Youth Fest at the college Sunday, and there's different booths that's sponsored by the different departments throughout the county. Perhaps we might think about next year asking for a booth, and maybe it would be beneficial for our recruitment efforts. And we could talk about that as the time approaches.
That's a great idea.
So,
Yep.
so we could reach out. I know that we have tried to get a diverse recruitment effort, and I think that will go a long way for that effort.
Yep.
Lastly, Mr. Supervisor, for what I have is I think we handed the board an article. It's in the we're going to hand it to you now in a Police Beat magazine, and it's something that we're not really happy about, and it's an article about ending asset forfeiture. The district attorney is familiar with it, and he's opposed to it as well as all the municipalities. As you know, we share services here, we share it with the county. This board is very gracious with the police officers. For the last 10 years, we had an officer up at the Narcotics Task Force. We have him up at JTTF, up in Goshen. Works closely and hand-in-hand with our state and federal partners. We have a person over there, as we speak, over at the Rockland County District Attorney's Office working on a couple of cases that are well beyond our jurisdiction, and we pay for those officers. And it seems to me it's only fair that if, at the end of the day, there's arrests made and there's some seizures and forfeitures of assets, that perhaps we should share in it. And this article indicates that there is a thrust in Congress to eliminate the seizure proceeds. So I will share it to you. I don't think it's something that we would endorse. The county got about, I think, about $16 million at one time when we had the Dominican lottery scam. So we're not talking about insignificant amount of money.
Absolutely.
So
Maybe we'll have the Attorney's Office review this, maybe we'll make a formal resolution and send it to our representatives that we are not in favor of ending this program.
I think it would be advantageous to us.
Yep.
I don't have anything else for the public, but I do have some things I would like to discuss with the board in executive session as to deal with some personnel matters.
I think, Chief, if we could just go through some things quickly here.
Sure.
I don't think we have a long agenda, and then we'll go into an executive session. Under police matters, we have a reimbursement for Detective Sergeant Brian Corbett. Moved by? Chief, what did you, Yitzi's wants to review this, Councilman Ullman.
Yes?
Why were you reimbursing for, what does this have to do with police work?
I'm sorry, I couldn't hear, sir.
What does this tuition reimbursement for Detective Sergeant John Corbett have to do with police matter, literature?
He indicates here, I'm a police instructor. I teach report writing and other topics at the Rockland County Police Academy. I'm also the Ramapo Youth Coordinator, and I instruct at the Youth Court. I tend to use these skills to improve my lesson plans and my report writing. Also, my position requires me to write reports prepared by subordinates. What I learned in this course will help me review these reports. Additionally, this course is required for a criminal justice degree.
What I think, excuse me, Mr. Supervisor, if I could say, in the History 102, I think the relevance is the constitutional law and the civil rights law, which ties into our criminal justice system. And when you're working with the young people, as I have done with my children when they've been in school, these things are relevant as far as police, dealing with the police. So I think that's the part that's the relevant issue.
Well, he does have in here, this course covers constitutional laws as well as civil rights in the United States. Knowledge that I've gained from this course will increase my skills as a police officer and a police supervisor. Additionally, this course is required for my criminal justice degree.
All right. Okay, moved by?
Excuse me, Mr. Senator. Beth Finkelstein is working on a grievance with the town in reference to Corbett paying tuition. I don't know if you want to approve this or not, because it will affect the outcome. It may affect the outcome if you decide to fight, or if you, he's filed a grievance. The town denied approval. So I don't know if you,
Let me
you're willing to let it go. That's fine.
it's not that we want to let something go. It's not, it's, the situation is that the contract is vague and there's a lot of gray issues in the contract as to reimbursement for officers and as to when, how, and what amounts. It's something that we've been discussing in our negotiations. I think I could say that, Michael, that we are looking at various caps and redefining this and making it workable so that our officers can continue to get training that is valuable to the department and to our taxpayers, and at the same time will understand going in what is available and what those reimbursements will be more defined, so that we'll get rid of the gray issues here. We want our officers to be able to get education that is important to our taxpayers. But if we are presently under that contract, so I believe the attorneys, I'll let our town attorney speak, but I believe that's why this has reached this level of paying this request. Michael?
The problem is not so much in the contract language, but it's the approvals that the board has granted in the past, and whether or not that impacts.
I wouldn't expect council to say anything other different than.
Ms. Finkelstein is out with the flu, so I don't know what the status of this grievance is. It's my understanding that this was being resolved and we would deal with it in the contract language, which we're not negotiating. So even though, of course, in English and in history may not on its face seem to be directly police related, there's an arguable basis for it, and I think other approved courses in the past are arguably similar to what is requested now. So that's the issue.
So that's why it came to this level of coming onto the agenda. So it's been decided that, as to the past practice, that this would qualify.
That is, yeah, that is correct.
I move it.
Moved by Deputy Supervisor Withers, seconded by Councilwoman Charles. All those in favor say aye. Opposed? 4-1 it passes. Thank you.
No disrespect meant to Sergeant Corbett from all the interaction I've had with him. He's an upstanding officer, but I felt like this.
On behalf of Detective Sergeant Corbett, he feels none. Okay?
He just doesn't, I don't think this meets the contract requirements.
I understand. And I appreciate the work you're doing on the negotiations to work on this language for future contracts. The next is a tuition reimbursement for Sergeant Michael Higgins. This is a reimbursement for a course. It's for $1,488.40.
This is for cybersecurity, Mr. Supervisor.
No.
That's the next one.
No, it's U.S. history, Mr. Withers.
Yes, this was taken at New York State, Empire State College. Moved by Deputy Supervisor Withers, seconded by Councilwoman Charles. All those in favor say aye. Opposed? Passes 4-1. The next is the cybersecurity with Police Officers Thomas Carroll, and that's moved by Councilman Ullman, seconded by Councilwoman Charles. All those in favor say aye. Opposed? Carries unanimously. Michael?
Yes, the first item is the approval of the agreement. This deals with a new 306 pedestrian sidewalk project. What's happening here is the town will receive 80% reimbursement for the cost of the project, but we have to initially lay out the money. So this authorizes the town to, in the first instance, pay 100% of the work toward the preliminary engineering and a right-of-way incidental work for this project.
Moved by?
I'm sorry, one question. So we pay for it up front and then we get the monies back,
And we get 80% back.
80%, so the town is only responsible for 20%?
That's correct.
Okay. Thank
Moved
you.
by Deputy Supervisor Withers, seconded by Councilwoman Charles. All those in favor say aye. Opposed? Carries unanimously.
The next is a claim. We had dealt with this previously, but what happened is there was a determination that the town and the other driver were each 50% at fault. There was damage to both vehicles. As a consequence, we're owed an amount and the other driver's owed an amount. The net is that we end up paying about $10. So this corrects the prior resolution to reflect that apportionment.
So ours is $403.06, and his is $413.91. Okay. Moved by Councilwoman Charles, seconded by Deputy Supervisor Withers. All those in favor say aye. Opposed, carries unanimously.
The next resolution settles a claim by the town against the Village of Suffern for damage to a fence. One of the village's vehicles slid off the road and damaged the fence, and Suffern's insurance company has offered to pay us the full cost of the repair of the fence, which is $1,490.
Moved by Councilwoman Charles, seconded by Councilman Ullman. All those in favor say aye. Opposed, carries unanimously.
Our insurance consultant, LeBauman Company, has asked that the board consider whether it wishes to avail itself of an option to increase the excess liability coverage that we have. We now have $1 million in primary liability coverage. We have, through Trident, an $11 million excess. We also have, and adopted, I believe, at the last meeting, an additional $10 million in additional excess coverage through Great American. Great American has two options which we could agree to or not. One is to increase the $10 million excess to, by $5 million to 15. That would cost the town an additional $10,000 per year. Or we could increase the current $10 million to $20 million, and that would increase the liability cost to us of $17,500. It was our insurance consultant's recommendation that we consider as much liability coverage as would fall within our budget parameters. So we're presenting it today for discussion with the board.
My recommendation would be to go to the full $20 million coverage for $17,005. Anyone?
Like a quarter, a tenth of a percent of our policy.
Yeah.
Yeah, that would give us a full $31 million of coverage. I just point out, you know, that's not a tremendous amount of coverage. There are certain condominium complexes that have up to $100 million in coverage. So considering the extensive operations of the town, through the police, through the rec department, all the vehicles that we have, I think that bringing the total liability, excess liability to $31 million is probably a very reasonable approach.
Okay, moved by Councilman Ullman, seconded by Councilman Friedman. All those in favor say aye. Opposed, carries unanimously.
The next item for discussion deals with the Route 306 sanitary sewer improvement project, and I think Mr. Zarenko could assist in this discussion. Basically,
Just sit right next to Michael, please, sir.
basically, outside engineers as well as our own Department of DPW have recognized that there is a capacity issue near Phyllis Terrace and Route 306. That capacity issue is affecting proposed developments along the Route 306 corridor. If that issue is alleviated by the installation of a larger pipe, then that would improve the infrastructure and avoid any SECA issues that the developers are encountering. It's been proposed to the town that one of the involved developers is willing to undertake this as a private project, and the other developers who are in the area are in agreement to contribute toward the cost of doing that sewer improvement project. This is beneficial to the town because it'll be done quicker and at less expense than if the town undertakes it, and it's beneficial to the developers in the area because they'll get the project done much quicker. So in discussing this with the involved parties, there is a question as to whether the town will contribute materials to the cost of the project if the developers basically undertake the labor costs.
So we
that's what's
would
on
pay
this.
for the pipe, the cost of the pipe, and they would do the work and the labor to dig it up and to put it in and to do it. And we'd obviously be there inspecting it and to
Yes.
meet our standards.
Be the pipe, the stone. If we were to include manholes, it would be very cumbersome to get it done quickly because it had to be designed first. You need to order the material. It's better that the contractor actually does that.
So I think what Mr. Zarenko is suggesting is that the town commit up to $1 level to pay for the gravel and related materials and all the pipe, but the manholes would be a cost to be absorbed by the developers.
So what would be what's the cap on the pipe and the gravel?
range of 35 to 40,000. We still are in the process of.
Well, why don't we do it up to?
Why don't we do up to 50 to give us a little bit of, I'm sorry.
What would happen if we don't pay? If we decide not to do the parks, they won't do it, or they're gonna do it anyway?
Quite frankly, it's our sewer system, so we would do
I
it.
understand.
So-
It doesn't change the fact that if they're willing to do it, they're gonna do the whole project.
They haven't said they would not do it. They're approaching us as this being an equitable sharing of costs that are ultimately
What
the
is the
town's.
estimate cost to actually do the improvement?
I think it's about $130,000.
Yeah, the current estimate, yeah.
So, what I,
So your recommendation would be to up to $50,000 for materials only?
correct,
Right, okay. Okay,
all right?
moved by?
And this is our sewer system?
Yes. Moved by Councilwoman Charles, second by Deputy Supervisor Withers. On the question?
Is there a requirement we have to fix the sewers?
Well, you know, the town board passed,
It's not leaking, it's not like it's causing damage, it just can't go more.
it's up to its maximum capacity. So basically, there's an inability to increase the flow because of the limitations of the pipe. We have zoning in place which contemplates uses within that area, and that implies that we would be responsible to have the infrastructure that meets our zoning. We do generally, but there's this one issue of capacity which can be rectified relatively simply by this
We
process.
require expanded capacity for people to build it
Well, if we don't, we would have to deny further construction.
in that area.
Yep.
I think it's a bad thing.
I think really what we're talking about is a section of our sewer system downstream that we're going to have someone else pay for to take this small section that is an undersized pipe and bring it to a larger sized
It's
pipe.
not leaking, it's not, there's no problems with it.
But we are always working on our system to have it flow in a more advantageous way. Sometimes we have old systems where there's a T, for instance, and we've changed it to a Y, so there's better flow. We did that recently. We just did something over on Robert Pitt Drive with the county, a combination with the county, but that was our system too that we worked on.
There was a problem with that system, it was leaking.
No, no, it wasn't.
The whole
It
ground
was a
was-
capacity. It was, yeah.
Also, but there
Yeah.
was a problem, there's no problem on the 306 one. It's full, but there's no problem with it, the problem is that they want to build more.
They want to build more in compliance with the zoning that we have in place. And I believe it's about a 500-foot length of pipe.
Approximately 500.
Let them pay the whole thing.
Okay, well, the resolution is to pay up to $50,000. We pay the materials. It's our system. We'll own it, and the work to dig it up will be done by this private entity. All right, moved by Withers, seconded by Charles. All those in favor say aye. Oh, we did? Okay. Okay. It's a vote. All those in favor say aye. Opposed? It's 4-1. Almond voted no.
Next, we have acceptance of dedication of a road widening strip incident to three-family development on 372 Blauvelt Road. So this is a condition of the approvals, is that they dedicate the road widening to the town.
So this is us to really accept that dedication. Acceptance of this dedication moved by Deputy Supervisor Withers, second by Councilwoman Charles. All those in favor say aye. Opposed? Carries unanimously.
I have one new item, which maybe it's appropriate to bring up now. This involves setting a date for the public scoping session on Pascack Ridge.
Okay.
We need to do it 20 days in advance to give the public an opportunity to comment, and the board needs to decide what date to set. We can do it at the next Thursday daytime meeting, we can do it at a workshop meeting, whatever's convenient for the board. Mr. Stolman will be here. There is a draft scope that has been prepared, which will be circulated, and the purpose of this is to allow public comment and then to adopt the scope, which will direct the content of the environmental impact statement that will be prepared.
I think we should do this at an evening so that more people, the public, Lieutenant.
No.
Why isn't the developer there just building, not, cares to reciprocate at 20%?
because this is a state and federal funding.
That's the one. He was
I'm not
required
going
to
anywhere.
sign that somewhere.
Look at the style.
He got lucky that this came in the people. He
Didn't require, but it's like,
he's the required. Now, he won the lottery, like, which is fine, right? For that portion, I'm talking about this is the front of his property. So the board did not require it.
Okay. So why don't we have it at the second meeting in April? Or actually, maybe the first meeting in May would be better. Chris, what would be the first?
May 13th.
May 13th. How's that sound? Okay? Okay, motion to have the scoping session at the meeting on May 13th. Moved by Deputy Supervisor Withers, second by Councilwoman Charles. All those in favor say aye. Opposed, carries unanimously.
And the resolution will say that'll be at 8 p.m.
Okay.
We have one litigation matter for executive session. Other than that,
We'll hold that, okay. And Nat, you have some monies?
We have amendment to the 2015 budget, money received from the New York State for community opioid prevention, the COP program.
Okay, and that's 4,800. Moved by Deputy Supervisor Withers, second by Councilwoman Charles. All those in favor say aye. Opposed, carries unanimously. Town Clerk, Chris, you have some things on here.
It's come that time of the year where we pay homage to federal government on filing our income taxes, and we also let the public know what our personal finances are. That is, those officers. This resolution defines the list of town officials who must disclose their financial involvements.
Okay. Moved by Councilwoman Charles, second by Deputy Supervisor Withers. All those in favor say aye. Opposed? Carries unanimously. And you have an authorization for the town clerk to attend the New York State Annual Conference.
Yes, Mr. Supervisor, this is my last conference as president of the association.
Party
Of course, we'll have 2 years to introduce me as what we call the ex officio.
Okay.
Immediate past president. This authorizes me to attend that conference that I will preside over, and it basically is a shared expense. And I hope my lodgings will be covered by the association, but my meals and travel, I would need the town support.
And will this be in Buffalo again?
This is close, Rochester.
Oh, Rochester, okay. Well, you've done a great job as the president of the New York State Town Clerks Association, and I think you're going to do a great job as the immediate ex officio president of the association. Okay, moved by Councilwoman Charles, second by Deputy Supervisor Withers. All those in favor say aye. Opposed, carried unanimously. Scott, come on over. Got a seat for you right next to Michael.
Nice try.
People at home want to be able to see you.
Mr. Supervisor, board members, the item that we're requesting you to consider is the town of Arapahoe wants to retain Paul Goldman. Paul Goldman worked with us on filing a brief in the 3rd and 4th Department of New York State. To give you a quick history in reference to fiber optic. In May of 2012, the first department, which is in New York City, ruled that fiber optic cable that runs in the private right-of-way is non-taxable under a very specific subsection of the definition within the statute. In the 4th Department, in a lower court decision recently in Erie County, the judge ruled that fiber optic should be taxable based on another subsection of an article within the definition of what's real property. In other words, what's taxable. What we're asking Paul Goldman to do is to file briefs in the 3rd Department, which is in the Albany area, because there's a pending case there, as well as file a brief in support of the property being taxable in the 4th Department. And what this sets the stage for, basically, is because there's conflicting decisions in different departments,
this case is most likely going to go to the Court of Appeals. So for us to file these briefs in the third and fourth department will help those departments hopefully rule in favor that the property should be taxable. So therefore, when it goes to the Court of Appeals, the record on this issue will be very clear, and hopefully the town will assist in making, get this decision favorable. By the way, we have this case right now against us with MCI and AT&T. So basically, we would have to spend this money, whether we spend it now or we spend it 2 years from now. We're just kind of, helping everybody upstate to hopefully be successful in this issue. Bernie Kushner, who's our utility expert, was extremely supportive of doing this and supportive of the judge's decision in Erie County. In fact, he was very critical of New York City in the fact they didn't point out that subsection which says that you should focus on certain aspects of why a fiber optic should be taxable. And it's very technical.
I thought I read, when I was reading what the judge in Albany, what she was saying, is that they were holding some of the decisions on the other cases until she rules.
Correct. And what's happened in the other departments is a lot of the assessments are very, very small, so the towns aren't expending any money on defending the cases. So we could get an adverse decision in the third department just because they have a $900 tax bill where it could impact downstate millions and millions.
And looking over the list from Office of Real Property from the state, the impacts on some of our villages could be very, very heavy, especially in the MCI case, I think, and the AT&T. So there's some big numbers there that revenues that could be lost by some of our villages.
Now, Mr. Goldman,
And the town as well, but mostly in some of them, in some of the villages, there were some very large numbers.
Mr. Goldman represents the town in taxation matters dealing with the utility properties. He also has a similar case in Waterville Lead, so he's very versed in this and can do this much more expeditiously than anybody else could do it. So it's a really a cost-effective way to be involved in those cases for issues which are very important both to the town of Arapahoe as well as all the municipalities around the state.
I think she was suspending her decision on that particular case too, as well, wasn't she?
Yes.
Until she rules in the third department in Albany.
So
Okay.
Scott, I believe in conversation with Mr. Goldman, we were going to cap expenses at $5,000.
Correct.
Okay.
Scott, just a general question about the case. Should we win, is that more tax revenue, or just we're not going to have a loss?
In the long run, it's going to be more tax.
Because I know Verizon, in the last 3 years, installed fiber optics in almost all the
Correct.
towns, so that should be
it's exactly where we're
major
getting.
new revenue.
Right.
Okay. Moved by Deputy Supervisor Withers, second by Councilman Ullman. All those in favor say aye. Opposed, carries unanimously. Thank you for that brief history. Do you have another item on here, Scott, do you?
Executive session?
Okay.
No, that's litigation.
All right. Purchasing?
Item 6A is the acceptance of a bid for the buses for various road trips for school bus or equivalent.
Okay. Moved by Deputy Supervisor Withers, second by Councilman Charles. All those in favor say aye. Opposed, carries unanimously.
One, we just decided which, very early this situation at the building. I moved you to supplies. Town board will list of the surplus vehicles that are, the police have just given me another copy of, as well as the ones that are already up to the state center. And like for sure, we'll dispose of them as necessary.
Okay, so we have been gathering the surplus vehicles and the surplus equipment. We're going to have an auction that those materials are being stored now next to the St. Lawrence Center and the Torrent Valley. And this, you want a resolution that we can authorize to...
Those that are not worth auctioning are simply going to have this based on
Would you give the final detail of all the surplus material and get it to all the council members? Okay, so we'll do that subject to that, all right? Moved by Deputy Supervisor Withers, second by Councilwoman Charles. All those in favor say aye. Opposed, carries unanimously. The next item on the agenda is Spook Rock Pool parking lot. Michelle.
We had a company come to us this week that would like to rent the Spook Rock Pool parking lot. The dates in the memo have changed. They would actually like 3:24 and 3:30. They plan to come in at about 5 a.m. and leave at 10 p.m. We'll be filming in some houses in the area, and the fee is $1,000 a day. So we're saying it's $2,000, fine, it's going to So they need 4 days? Trying, hoping they'll come back. I believe they've also reached out to Allen for some possible police necessities, and that's through Allen, the police department.
So anything that, if they need anything from the police, we have a rate that they will pay, and we'll.
The rate, and they're going to work out that separately. I just read it from the market.
All right, we'll have to have a resolution on that as well. So this resolution will be just for the parking lot, and then when we get the computation from Alan, we'll do for the payment to the police.
What they were asking for, we just gave them the rate.
Okay.
If you have a contact person,
I do.
ask them to get that sooner than later. I mean, we only talk about a week away, and if there's going to be shift work involved, we'll have to have some scheduling issues.
I wasn't sure what they were asking for, but I'll get that over to you.
Okay.
The tree company will get back to you, Michelle, in reference to the
No, I have that
right
right
side of the road.
I have called twice. They did, the manager that works in our area called me and said he doesn't believe it's theirs, but he was gonna look into it further, because I said, we saw your trucks. I have two, town members saying, that they saw your trucks. And he was gonna look into it further. He didn't have it back to me, but I have their number. I think at this point, I
Well,
checked down
give it to
today.
Pat. Let Pat call him.
The
Pat will call.
stuff is there.
I'll call them, I saw them dump it there, but for now, can we put a gate, can we get someone to
Yeah, we
go
have it up here. We have it up from before, so it's locked.
we can
Yeah.
lock that up?
What happens is, in the previous storms, we had areas where people could take that in, and now there's some landscaper that just, upon himself, just went and dumped it in our pool parking lot. So, thank you, Michelle, for following up on that. On the main motion, moved by Deputy Supervisor Withers, second by Councilwoman Charles. All those in favor say aye. Opposed, carries unanimously. Michelle, you have another one?
Yes, another group has approached us, they would like to rent out the Saint Center for a day, on April 24th to host a circus.
Elephants?
Well, no elephants.
Okay, all right.
Provide them with all their material, they've been doing it, they do it in YMCA's, they'll cover the floor, they will still allow our members to come in the facility and use the upstairs, so it won't prohibit anybody from using the facility, for those purposes, but they will have all three gyms blocked up for the day. They'll do 2 performances, and they'll pay us $2,000 plus insurance.
Seems cheap.
Yes. Well, it's the court, the way I did it was, I did our not-for-profit court rate for 3 courts. It came out to $2,400, but they say they typically pay $2,000, they're only expecting supposedly 150 people per show, which seems a little low. So I figured for the first time, we could meet their budget and see how it goes. And
Okay.
come back.
All right, and obviously you have enough time for scheduling so that the courts won't be,
Yeah, it's only during the working hours. They don't have to stay open later or open earlier. It's just during the working hours.
okay. All right, moved by Deputy Supervisor Withers, second by Councilwoman Charles. All those in favor say aye. Opposed, carries unanimously. You can stay for this, Michelle, because we have a personnel item. Linda?
Okay, we have 2 items that are linked together. At a previous meeting, we had done a lateral move with the highway employee to fill a vacant position in parks. Due to a clearance issue with Rockland County personnel, we're unable to complete this. He is back in the highway now, so we're rescinding resolution 2015-106. So that highway personnel is back in highway.
And so the person that was in that position at the highway and the person, they're going to flip-flop. So the person that's in the highway now will go to parks. The person in parks who didn't qualify for that park title will go back to his job in the...
But they're separate. So
I
the
got you.
first one,
Is
8A,
to rescind.
is to rescind.
Okay, moved by Deputy Supervisor Withers, seconded by Councilwoman Charles. All those in favor say aye. Opposed, carries unanimously.
And the next one is a resolution to appoint Daniel Ames into that vacant position in parks.
Gotcha. Moved by Deputy Supervisor Withers, seconded by Councilwoman Charles. All those in favor say aye. Opposed, carries unanimously. Okay, so I don't think we have any other new business. So before we go into executive session, we'll have public participation. Anybody in the public would like to speak? Come right up. Thanks, Michelle.
Robert Romanowski, 183 Maple Avenue, Muncie. At the last town board meeting, I asked a question about an underlying property value of the Elm Street project of $3,080,000 for land that was built on. And Supervisor St. Lawrence, when you started discussing that, you said that the LDC built on 44% of the property at the Elm Street project.
Approximately.
And I have the numbers here. The price of the property was originally $15,700,000. The
No,
town
that-
received a $7,700,000 gift from the town, bringing the cost down to $8 million. So I did the math here. I
Well,
multiplied...
stop, Robert, you have the wrong property.
What?
You're using, that's the property for the ballpark.
Okay, but something else for Elm Street, that was also...
Elm Street was $7 million.
Elm Street was $7 million,
Yes.
okay.
That, what you're quoting there was
Okay.
the ballpark.
Elm Street was $7.5 million. It was a $500,000 gift in equity. The cash that the town paid for the property
Okay.
was $7 million.
Okay, so it will be 7 million
Times
times
.44.
.44 to get the
Correct.
amount. Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Robert. Okay, motion to close public participation. Moved by Deputy Supervisor Withers, second by Councilwoman Charles. All those in favor say aye. Opposed, carries unanimously. Motion to go into executive session. Moved by Councilwoman Charles, second by Deputy Supervisor Withers. All those in favor say aye. Opposed, we're going in for litigation and contracts.
Right.
All those in favor say aye. Opposed, carries unanimously. Okay, we are in executive session. It came to our attention that there were two other classes by Mr. Corbett that were not covered by that resolution. One was a Spanish and one was a photography class. And so we're going to do those separately. So under new business, we have a motion for a reimbursement for Detective Sergeant Brian Corbett for his Spanish class. Moved by? Moved by Deputy Supervisor Withers, second by Councilman Ullman. All those in favor say aye. Opposed? Carries unanimously. That was for the Spanish. And the next motion is for reimbursement for Detective Sergeant Brian Corbett for his class on photography. Moved by Councilwoman Charles, second by Deputy Supervisor Withers. All those in favor say aye. Opposed? Carries 4-1. Motion to adjourn. Moved by Charles.
Did you want to do anything about that Parks and Rockland?
No.
That was just discussion.
Just to, thank you though for reminding us.
The-
That was for the
That was-
the amicus.
that
We
was-
did we did that. Yeah, yeah.
That's
All right. Now we will motion to adjourn. Moved by Councilwoman Charles,
sorry,
seconded by Deputy
Supervisor,
Supervisor.
I'm advised that as of today's date, we have no agenda items for next week. Does the board want to keep that meeting on, or do you want to cancel it?
I think we should cancel it. And everybody,
The next one?
we have we've satisfied all our agenda items today. So why don't we cancel the workshop and the town board meeting for next week? Moved by Deputy Supervisor Withers, seconded by Councilwoman Charles. All those in favor say aye. Opposed, carries unanimously. Now a motion to adjourn by Deputy Supervisor Withers, seconded by Councilwoman Charles. All those in favor say aye. Opposed, carries unanimously. We're adjourned. Thank you.